She can dodge her in. She can dodge her.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Derek's going crazy on us backstage, but he made it. All right. Listen, we're glad to be here on this Thursday night. We hope you all enjoy the Week 10 preview show. As we stated the other day, these are some big matchups in the division. The Houston Texans have to deal with the Lions. The Colts have to deal with the Bills. The Titans got to deal with the Chargers, and the Jags got to deal with the Vikings. This is a tough slate for the AFC South Roundtable. We're going to dive into it and more, but right before we do want you to know that this stream is being powered by BetUS. Take advantage of the 150% bonus, sign-up bonus that they are offering up to $2,000 using code YouTube150, ladies and gentlemen. All right, YouTube150. Take advantage of the opportunity. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start out with the first game of the week. We're going to go Jaguars versus the Vikings. All right, the Jaguars are at home in this one. So Ruben, give me your take and your score prediction.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to whether or not they could hold up Trevor Lawrence. And if they do, I think they will have an opportunity to be in this game. The connection between Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram is really special, man. And they got it going last game against the Philadelphia Eagles, but it was a little too late. If they are able to do that this game, but start hot all four quarters, then there's maybe an opportunity. Last week before the Colts game, Dawson said he feels like the Vikings are going to come down to earth. So maybe that happens this week against Jacksonville. However, I don't think so, but I think the score is very close. I'm going to go 27-21 Minnesota Vikings.
27-21 Minnesota Vikings. All right, man. Tough one. Derek, what do you have on this one?
Yeah, I mean, we saw what the Minnesota Vikings have become, and they look so good right now, no matter what the last few games have looked like. And I definitely think that they're going to once again have another heyday with Jacksonville here as well. So I'm going to go a final score of 24-13 Vikings.
24-13 Vikings. Titan Rossi, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville has had the past couple of games. I mean, they've somehow kind of hung in there against some good teams. I don't think they're going to completely fall on their face during this game. I think it also depends on how well Sam Darnold plays for Minnesota, because I think that he's been playing really well this year, but there's been a few games where it's kind of been hit or miss. I mean, he threw 2 picks in the last game. So I think the Jaguars are going to hang in there, but I think the Vikings are still going to win the game. I'm going to say the Vikings 27 and the Jags, we'll give them 20.
27-20. No respect from your peers, UCF. What do you have happening in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I chose the Jaguars to win last week. That they get a surprise one out there in Philly. Almost happened. Obviously didn't happen. And I don't know, at some point, the Jaguars just need to get completely blown out. So maybe that'll spark something for, just get rid of Doug, get rid of Trent, just start the whole process of moving on with this. Maybe not a blowout, but I don't know. The Jaguars, I can't pick them to win again for a while until maybe we play the Titans, right? So I'll pick the Jaguars to lose 20-17.
Tough, man. Unanimous across the board. Jaguars with another loss, getting them a good draft pick. Let's go on to the Tennessee Titans versus the Los Angeles Chargers here. Let's start right back with you, UCF. What do you have on this game and your score prediction?
Yeah, the Titans coming off of just a crazy victory. Morale is high over there in Tennessee, but unfortunately, they come back down to earth when they play a good team that is not tanking. So they're going to lose probably 30-17, but it's going to be great for the tank, okay? The tank does live on, and we'll see where the Titans are on Tankathon next week.
Tankathon next week. What was your score prediction again?
I think I said like 30-17, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know what I said.
Yeah, I think that's what you said. Yeah.
Man, Ruben, what do you got on it?
I have it being 28-17 Chargers. I think this is just going to be an ugly one. Unless Tony Pollard can get it going on the ground and they can get some type of play from quarterback. Other than that, I think their high of the season was last week, and now it's just a downhill from there, man. The Chargers are going to win this game easily.
Man, oh man. At least both of them have you getting 17 points, Rossi. What about you, Derek?
I am going with the upset. I am thinking that somehow, some way, the Tennessee Titans are going to pull it out. Somehow, some way, they're not through winning yet. Listen, when the Chargers are forced to play one-dimensionally, they end up a lot of times getting too conservative or too crazy, and then they end up making a lot of mistakes. And I know this Chargers team looks a little bit better this year than it has in years past, but they still make mistakes. And I think that the Tennessee Titans are somehow, some way going to pull this out. And I am going with a final score of 17-14 Tennessee.
Well, at least all three of y'all got them scoring 17 points, man. But holding the Chargers to 14, very interesting. All right. The Titans still have some defensive pieces that they did not trade today, so that'll be interesting. Rossi, what do you have on your own team, man?
Right. I mean, the Titans can only score 17 points. Like it's a thing. It's been a thing for the last few seasons. And look, I mean, they just lost Quandre Diggs for the season. They lost their starting center, Lloyd Cushenberry, who's arguably one of the best centers in the league. And, what's sad about this whole situation is the Titans offensive line has been playing really well the last 5 weeks. I think up until this last week, they had 4 weeks in a row where they hadn't allowed a sack. And it was the best in the league, which was absolutely crazy to think about. And it's just a shame that Cushenberry is out because they were really starting to gel, at least on the offensive line. And that was like one of the very few positive things coming out of Tennessee. And I just think, I think the Chargers are going to be too much. It's in LA. I just don't see it happening. I mean, I don't know what Derek's on tonight, but I I don't see it happening. I mean, if there's one team that can screw this up, it would be the Chargers. I mean, let's just be honest about that. But I just don't see it happening. I think the Chargers are going to cover the spread, and I think that it's going to be I think it's going to be like a 30-14 type of game. I think the Titans will hold them off until like the third quarter, and then something will just happen. Rudolph will throw a pick, they'll fumble, special teams will screw up. It'll be a clown show from then on out. So I think it's going to be like 30-14.
All right, 30-14, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go over to the next game of the week. We got the Indianapolis Colts at home versus the Buffalo Bills. Ruben, take this one away.
Yeah, I think this might be, a little bit closer. I think Joe Flacco does have a bounce back game, but the defense from Indianapolis, man, they kept it. They kept them in the game last week, and if that is the same, then maybe they do find themselves, competing with Buffalo. However, I think Josh Allen and Amari Cooper do get it going, and Keon Coleman, he is coming into his own. I had this also being, a close game. I think that the Indianapolis Colts are going to lose. Let's go 24-17.
24-17. UCF, what you got on it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the Colts have been really hanging tight, and they've been winning some games. I give them credit. I think there is a game where just everything, all the wheels fall off, and a lot of the dysfunction shows because there's a lot of dysfunction in Indy right now. And when you look at the scoreboards of these games, it doesn't really show there, but there is just a lot of really weird stuff going on there. So I do think that this is a game where the Colts potentially get embarrassed. I think that the Colts will lose in blowout fashion. I think that Flacco may not play well, and I think Anthony Richardson comes into the game, and he'll be the starting quarterback going forward. So I'm going to say that the Colts will lose this one 31-10.
131. If you said 31-10 or 1
yes,
31-10?
No, okay. 31-10.
All right, I had to make sure I was clear. Titan Rossi, what you got on this, man?
Yeah, I think if the Colts can somehow handle Josh Allen. I mean, there's been a few games this season, and the one reason I don't really follow the Bills closely, but I have Josh Allen on my fantasy team. And there are some times where, you know, he gets stopped. It's like he plays terrible for like the first couple quarters, and then all of a sudden he turns it on. I don't know. I mean, if the Colts can somehow stifle him in the beginning and somehow kind of cling on to the third or the fourth quarter, they might have a chance to keep it close. I could see that happening, but I don't think they're going to be able to win against the Bills. I'm going to say the Bills 27 and the Colts, we'll say 17.
All right. And last but not least, Derek, take it away.
I mean, the fact that Dalton is literally over there saying that the Colts are going to lose by 21 points is insane. I know that obviously what we saw last week was not a good indication at all of this Colts offense. I mean, I hope that I would expect Joe Flacco to have a better game than he did last week. Hard to be worse than what you just saw last week from Joe Flacco. So yes, I do expect him to bounce back. And of course, when the Colts have played the Buffalo Bills in recent memory, they've run the ball relatively well against them. And that is one thing that the Colts have not done well with when Joe Flacco is the quarterback. It's better when Anthony Richardson is the quarterback because people have to take into consideration Anthony Richardson taking it and running it himself. So I don't know which one of those is going to come down to it. Listen, all the Indianapolis Colts games this year have been settled by one score. Every single one, regardless of whether or not Indy has won or lost, every single game has come down to one score. So it's probably going to be another one of those as well. I'm going to go 27-23 Buffalo.
27-23 Buffalo. Interesting. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's knock out the last game in the division. This is a huge one, man. The Houston Texans with hopefully Nico Collins back versus the Detroit Lions. Now, Houston is home on this one. They flexed this to Sunday night prime time. The world gets to see it. UCF, what's your take on it?
Oh boy, man, Detroit right now looks like the best team in the NFL. To be honest, and they just made a big trade for what is that guy's name? Zadarius Smith, the interior defensive lineman. So they are locked and loaded. And I give the Texans some credit. You know, last time I thought they were kind of playing some bad football. You know, I picked them to lose to the Bills, and they came out there and had a really, really big statement win. So the Texans definitely have it in them. But, man, right now with just the way their offense is looking and their offensive line is playing, we don't know if Nico Collins will be back. Of course, he is eligible to come back. But, I mean, anytime, you know, they have their defense, I mean, Texans have a top 3 defense. So that will always keep them in games. And C.J. Stroud just needs to have a few plays to win. So I will take Detroit. I'll take this one, them winning 21-20.
21-20. What about you, Tide Rossi?
Which game are we talking about? I'm sorry.
We got the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I mean, the Lions, you know, they've been such an impressive team this season. I mean, they're one of those teams. I think they're, you know, one of the best, maybe better than the Chiefs. I don't know. I mean, considering the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins and all that, but I think the Lions have a real shot to, you know, make it to the Super Bowl together this year if they can keep on going the way that they are going. You know, all the pieces that they have, Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, just all the pieces, the defense, the coaching has just been all, you know, top notch this season. But I don't know. I see the Lions winning this game. I'm going to say the Lions 24-21.
Lions 24-21. Derek, what's your take on this one?
I mean, the Texans are definitely going to get back a couple of key pieces this week that are definitely going to keep them in this game. Most importantly, Nico Collins, from what most people assume, and a couple other people on defense, which will really help. But as it stands right now, I don't know if you can vote against the Lions. I mean, I think the only team that the Lions would maybe not be favored against right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. And outside of that, it might be betting odds that the Lions do that right now because the Lions are just so good right now. The last 5 games, Jared Goff has 11 touchdowns and no interceptions. And half the time, he's not even having to throw the ball more than 15 times in a game. So, I mean, the Lions are just dominating. It doesn't even matter who they lose or what's going on. They just continue to keep blowing out teams. It doesn't matter where they are or who they're going against or how many people they lose. They just continue to be one step ahead of the competition. And so I think that that's probably going to continue. I do think it'll be a little closer than some of the last few games that have been. I'll go 31-21 Detroit on this one.
31-21 Detroit. Ruben, are you going to stick up for your team or are you going to concede this loss?
Oh, no, absolutely, man. It's any given Sunday. The Houston Texans so far undefeated at home. At home, their defense is elite. Sub 40 ratings to Anthony Richardson and Josh Allen. Boys, we get back 3 starters. One of them, Nico Collins, who before he went out was leading the league in receiving yards. You get back your captain, Azeez Al-Shaair, and also veteran Jimmy Ward. The key to this game is, can the Houston Texans keep C.J. Stroud upright? If they are able to get that done, then I think the Houston Texans will have an opportunity to steal this one from one of the best teams in the NFL. There will be a new starting left guard. It might be Kendrick Green if Jared Patterson isn't cleared from concussion protocol. But this is the O-line's opportunity to drop their nuts, man. Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day, and hopefully we get that this Sunday night against Detroit in prime time.
What was your score again?
Oh, yeah, let me go 30-27. Ikayemi Fairbairn, 50-plus yard field goal.
Yo,
Man,
Ruben, have you ever picked against the Texans this year on this channel?
No, but I almost did it tonight, boys. If we lose tonight, you're gonna start seeing me go the other way, because as much concerns I have about this offensive line, if they get exposed again or have a new career high in pressure rating, I mean, I'm not gonna feel good about any team going forward, to be honest with you.
Man, oh man, listen, Ruben, if y'all beat the Lions, everybody's gonna fear the Texans with Nico.
Man, dude, it would be the most Texans thing to do to get embarrassed to a 2-6 New York Jets team, then steal one at home against Detroit. It will just continue the stigma of inconsistent team. But hey, we'll see.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your AFC South Roundtable NFL Week 10 preview show. Again, we want you to know the stream is being powered by BetUS. Take advantage of 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, up to $2,000 using code YouTube150, all right? As you can see, the odds are up for every game and your favorite teams right here on the AFC South Roundtable. Indianapolis Colts +4. If you like that, get on it. Minnesota Vikings -4. If you like that one, don't get on it because you're a Jacksonville Jags representative, hopefully, if you rep them. But if you don't think the Jags can get it done, you get on that Minnesota Vikings train. Also, we also have Tennessee +9. Can they cover? I don't know, but Houston Texans +3.5. That's going to be a very interesting one. All right. Well, we thank you all for tuning in. We love you all. And until next time, we'll see you soon next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here on the AFC South Roundtable. Peace. We are out.